Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Hello, everybody. All right, everybody. Live stream is up. The tweet is going out. We are officially live.
Well, good morning, sir.
Good mullen to you.
Why does it
Good morning to everyone.
Good morning.
So, we have a little bit of recapping to do. I'll give everybody here a few minutes to get into the chat. We'll watch to see if we get a few hundred people in here looking for their daily fix of Mullen analysis. But as you can see, Mullen is showing some tremendous strength, as it did throughout all of pre-market and yesterday's post-market trading session. We're looking at Mullen here on the 5-minute candle, and as you can see, we have made multiple legs up straight to the $2 final resistance line that I called out last week. So, I am doing this, I'm normally not up this early in the morning, but when I saw Mullen up at 170 pre-market, I decided that this was absolutely something that needed to be shared with everybody. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Is Mullen making the cactus pattern? I don't know. I haven't drawn a cactus pattern. What the hell would a cactus pattern look like?
Oh, wow.
That means the cactus is coming for them, Jack.
Cactus Jack.
Oh, shit.
Cactus Jack.
Oh, man. All right. All right.
Curious to see what the unusual Wells flow for MULN is.
Most definitely. Let's go bring up Mullen's daily chart, okay? We need to do a little bit of technical charting and get people up to speed here. So, here's the analysis on Mullen, all right? If y'all are joining us for the first time, you have no idea what Mullen is or why the hell it moved up more than 30% in pre-market since its close on Friday. Mullen Automotive is a penny stock that is building EV vehicles. Specifically, they have a new flagship product called the MULN 5, which they're working on a production line manufacturing out of a brand new bought auto factory in Tunica, Mississippi. The company itself is based out of Berea, California, and it's managed by CEO David Mickery, who you can follow on Twitter at David Mickery, spelled DAVIDMICHERY. Now, this stock was a bit unusual because if you look back to its IPO date, which was back on November 4th, and yes, I see that there's a lot of trading that happened long before that. We'll get to that in a second. But November the 5th, actually, I should say, is the IPO date for Mullen. Okay, this is when this stock officially became MULN. This ticker took a had a pretty volatile open coming into the market, and this particular stock was a highly speculative, low-budget EV play that opened up onto the market after creating a reverse merger with another company called Net Elements under ticker NETE. Mullen was also trading in the OTC penny stock market before then, as I believe it was MUL on the OTC market. After its IPO, about 2 weeks into the IPO, it sold off pretty badly, and it entered into this bull channel ever since after about, it crossed in on the 1st of December, and it started forming the bull channel after about the 17th of December. It's been there ever since, and it sold off from its IPO price of about $15 down to its lowest price on February 22nd at a low of 59 cents. Now, as as fate would have it, we discovered Hell's Trading Floor discovered MULN just a couple days before that, or rather in pre-market on February 21st, and it was brought to my attention that night. After we did some analysis, we discovered that short exempts on this particular stock were so high compared to its free float that it really didn't make any kind of logical sense. If you don't know what short exempts are, you can look at a video that's also on this YouTube channel called Short Exempts Explained, Short Exempts and Reg Show Explained. Watch that video. It's highly educational and meant to kind of illustrate exactly what is going on with this particular stock, as well as others like it that have, well, that have experienced similar types of squeezes and may or may not be manipulated by market makers. After this stock made its huge move, the short exempts actually exceeded the free float, which is something that shouldn't logically be possible, but nevertheless, that it did. And it sold back off after making a run to $2 or almost $2 on the 28th of February. Sold off with this engulfing red candle the very following morning, and it was on the SSR Reg Show list for the next following 3 trading days. At that point, MULN consolidated and formed this wedge that you see here. Try and zoom in on this so that you can see what I'm talking about. This is the wedge that we're referring to. Now, MULN made several different indicators to us, including those short exempts that we spoke of. But after Friday, we saw MULN break out of its wedge here, and this is when we called it out. When we saw this happen, we were pretty confident that MULN was going to make a run for it. This happened in the very last 2 hours of the trading day on Friday. It had been consolidating down here pretty much the entire time. After it broke up after $1.25, it was pretty much a moonshot from there. It went up to over $1.40 in post market trading. Sorry, I'm getting a little too excited, but getting mixed up. So in any case, MULN has several resistances that are key to it, and we've pretty much crossed all of them. That's why you see this $2 resistance line marked as final resistance here on my chart. Okay, and I'll illustrate to you why that is. So I'm going to go ahead and get you guys a fixed volume profile chart. This will show you the volume shelf for the trading on MULN since its IPO date up until now. Let's go ahead and zoom in here. You'll notice that there is no volume on the shelf above $2. The volume shelf looks a little bit messy here, so let's actually go back here, switch to the 1 hour chart. We'll make this a little bit easier to see. So this is the volume shelf. You can see the levels a little bit more clearly. You notice how this volume was spiking really big in the trading in the about 3 trading weeks prior to this prior to it hitting its all-time low. This is because market makers and a series of hedge funds were pushing this price down in order to acquire the company at a much lower price. Pretty much a trying to engineer a hostile takeover, or so we suspect. And a video will be coming out a little bit later that kind of explains our analysis of this volume shelf. But basically what we think happened is after this was called out around February 22nd, 23rd, and 24th, retail started to get wind of what was going on with this stock and how manipulated it was. And there's no other way to say it other than retail just like kicked these market makers in the balls and they were not ready for it. And we kind of squeezed them out of a bunch of failures to deliver. If you look on Ortex, if you have access to Ortex, and I'll be happy to bring this up for you here in just a second. But on Ortex, you'll see that during this period, after this huge move upward, the Ortex short interest, the estimated short interest, shot through the ceiling. It kind of came out of nowhere. And what that indicates is that when retail bought up all of these shares and brought the price back up above $1, uh, they weren't ready to deliver all of those shares that they had short exempted that caused the price to fall all the way down here. And since most of the volume up to date had happened down below $1, as soon as it peaked above $1, it basically just it squeezed them and forced them to take a whole bunch of borrows in order to close those failures to deliver by the due date, which was it was actually March 2nd would have been the due date, but they went a little bit early in order to prevent those failures to deliver from being forced to close. So they got ahead of it and they took a bunch of borrows. They shorted it down, used every short exempt they possibly could to the point where more than 22 million shares were short exempted, and that exceeded the free float of this stock at that time. Now, note what I'm telling you is that there's very little volume here at the $2 level. Almost all of the short exempts, they pushed this thing down, used borrowing and short exempt shares since $1.40 and below. Okay, they used the assistance of profit takers and day traders that were selling off MULN early in the morning, and they used that momentum to push the stock all the way back down to a low of 170. 170. I'm sorry, 70 cents, just 70 cents. And that's where it ended up by the end of that trading week. So now since this bounce, they've still been scrambling to cover, and retail kept buying and buying and buying and buying. And now we are at this final resistance line, which brings us up to where we currently are at right now. Okay, if you're in on this stock, congratulations, you're already up massively on your position, and we want to congratulate you and everybody else that got on this play early. And if you held on since February 22nd or so when we first jumped in on this, thanks for sticking with us, because I know that it was really shaky there after that big sell-off. It was hard to believe that this thing would actually play out the way that we suspected it would, but look at where we are right now.
You know, it's a testament to how valuable some of this data that we're able to pull from is. I mean, Ortex is doing such an incredible job. They're members of Health Trading Floor, and if you're not on the Ortex platform, I highly, highly encourage you to sign up. And they do have a free trial. But I mean, them and so many other resources that we're pulling from that TD and the team had built the backbone of ScourgeBot and the tools that are kind of giving visibility and making some of the scariness of the market a little bit less scary. It's just incredible.
Appreciate that, J. Rock. It's to your point, the data that we have, most of the data that we have access to, is accessible to retail through providers like Ortex, which has been. I don't know how we'd be able to do this kind of deep dive analysis that we do at Hell's Trading Floor without them. And I had to speak with I had to speak with Peter Hillerberg. He's one of the co-founders at Ortex. I had to speak with him this morning when I saw the. I woke up at 1 p.m. Pacific time, or sorry, 1 a.m. Pacific time, and I looked at the pre-market numbers on the free float for Ortex, and I'll just show you this right here. The on loan was just hilarious. I need to go ahead and update this. Let me refresh it.
I saw that too.
Oh, is it not there? Did they change? Oh, they adjusted the float. They adjusted the float. Um, well, if you had looked early on in the morning, you might have seen that the on loan, the percentage of shares on loan was like 500% the float.
Yeah, the current short interest, even about not even half an hour ago, was 216%.
Yeah, like it was ridiculous, and now that number's been adjusted. That's because Taryn Peaser, who's he's part of one of these firms that is highly suspect in what we believe is going on with MULN stock. Um, he purchased 18 million shares through his fund Drawbridge, and that has significantly skewed the float numbers. And it's not it's because it's a individual investor that needs to be counted as part of the float. Um, and he is not an insider, at least to my knowledge. I don't think he's a member of Mullen's board of directors. But in any case, he purchased 18 million shares through a direct offering with Isuzu Holdings. Um, if you're not if you're very new to this play, what's essentially been going on with Mullen and the reason why it's been selling off is they have a really bad financing agreement with what we suspect is a very dirty organization called Isuzu Holdings. Their founder and managing director Michael Locke is he's a known felon who's restricted from trading in the U.S. stock market because of an embezzlement case against him with Chase Bank from back in the 90s. I want to say like 1999 or so. But in any case, he's been involved in a lot of really shady schemes to basically trick companies or at least target very desperate companies with bad financing and low cash that are in a desperate situation, and they get into these toxic financing agreements where they're forced to, um, where they're basically forced to dilute their stock at Isuzu's whim, and what they do is they just turn it around and they sell it to somebody else who wants to acquire the company in a hostile takeover. They've done this multiple times, and in fact, the company NETE that preceded Mullen was one of the victims. There was another one called Digital Power Corporation, which was later moved into BitNile, ticker NILE, and that was under Alt Global Holdings. That's another firm that's involved in this stock. So there's a lot of players, and those are just two of them that have been involved. Taryn Peaser, who's he's been in the market for a long time, and he owns which one? Drawbridge LLC. And that's another fund that's involved in this, and he has been named in multiple stocks that have been um, diluted to death by financing agreements with Isuzu Holdings. So there's a lot of interesting similarities between this stock and others, particularly with these toxic financing agreements. Okay. They're gonna try to knock it down here. So we have a. I should actually draw out the fib level on this stock. But before I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and secure my cost average on these $1 Mullen calls since they expire this Friday. I'm gonna take out 100%. I'm taking out 100% profit on half of my calls. So I'm gonna let the other half ride. So now they're just they're running on. I'm just running with the house's money now. No matter how much you believe in a stock, no matter how much you trust your DD, you should always protect your cost average. Always try to protect your capital. It's important that people always remember to manage their risk carefully. And no matter what, it's important to protect and preserve your capital. Okay, let's go ahead and draw our fib levels here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go only since the IPO date, okay? Okay. It's a bit volatile. Yeah, but yeah, if you look at these, if you look at the fib levels.
You're still showing the Ortex
Oh,
on
whoops.
the stream.
My bad. Thanks, Verde. All right, I'll go ahead and take a look at this. So I've drawn the fib levels beginning on the IPO date, so it's not as traditional. We could adjust it down here to the low since then, and that'll kind of move our resistances up. But if we move it to the actual low on the IPO date, then we're actually a lot closer. So what you end up with is we have a Fibonacci resistance level here at $2.05 according to Fib, which is pretty much right on with our final resistance line at $2 that I've marked out here. This is significant both for the volume shelf, but for the previous consolidation here on the 9th through the 10th and 11th of February, and also the resistance that it met here on the 29th of February and sell off from 1st of March. And now we're testing it again for the second time. We have a big double bottom here, which is very nice. And I believe Trey might call this a George W. So this is definitely a key level of resistance. We're kind of selling off at the moment. It's not very dangerous at the moment. I'm not worried right now. The beauty of this, if you're new and you're not familiar with my analysis, one of the things that I had called out was that the shorts in this play, they entered at the worst possible time. Notice the volume down here on all these previous trading days. These guys didn't start really messing with this thing, like really over leveraging themselves until the 4th of February, and the volume didn't start picking up because of them until about the 11th of February. And the price started to sell off only after they really started to hammer it, especially after their bad earnings call. That's when they felt confident that they could burn this thing down to bankruptcy. And for the market maker, that was a good thing because the market maker can use short exempts. And short exempts are basically, if they don't locate the share, it doesn't matter to them. They're exempt as a market maker, so they don't have to cover their shares right away. They get 6 trading days from the time that they short exempt to deliver that before they're forced to deliver. So what they can do is they open up a short exempt and say, hey, we just need like 4 to 6 days to find you this share, and then we'll deliver it then. But in actuality, they're trying to get around their market making obligations to take a net short position in a short period of time, and then they just continuously borrow stock after the price has gone way down, and then they start delivering those FTDs. But what happens if they run out of those shorts to borrow and the price starts going up against them? Well, then that puts them underwater. So most of the shorting actually happened way down here. Like about 80% of the shorts started entering on the 22nd through the 25th of February. And that was because there was a lot of retail interest coming into this, and they're like, okay, we need to make sure we control this retail volume, and we don't let this thing get too out of hand. But retail was a lot stronger than the market makers predicted, and they pushed it up above $2, and that forced the market maker to cover all of those failures to deliver using borrowed shares, which elevated the short interest even more, and then short exempted even more shares to push it down again. And now we've put them underwater again. So now the market maker is fighting the tide yet again, as the market maker is trying to keep this stock price under control. Now, this $2 level is so important. There's 2 possibilities of what can happen here. If we break out above $2, that's it. The market maker won't be able to control this for a combination of reasons. The main one being that options gamma and the Friday calls for $1 and $2.50 combined would equal up to 30% of the float being in the money. There's no way that the market maker can control that kind of momentum. that gamma squeeze will put them far underwater, which is why they do not want to let this thing get above $2. The other possibility is we form this wedge here and complete this, and then they might try to drag this out until the end of the month. So those are the other two possibilities. All right. We've already broken out of this bull channel, so I mean we'll leave it here just for everybody's convenience, so that you can see what this thing was doing previously. But this is where we currently are at with our technical patterns. I'll go ahead and delete these supports as well, since we're not going to need them. We'll keep the latest one. Okay, the latest support is at $1.40. All right, so well, it looks like they are going to try to throw this thing down. So I'm going to go ahead and close these other remaining calls for $1 strike, because these ones expire this Friday. I'm going to use that capital to buy a dip. I should mention that nothing here on this channel is financial advice. We're just amateur traders and educators trying to teach people about the market a little bit. So please don't take anything that we say as gospel or truth. We're not experts in the market. We're just trying to make a little bit of money. We do the best that we can, but of course we're all we're all human, contrary to the name.
Well, it's one of the things that I love that we try to talk about here too, is the fact that there are 10 trillion different ways you can look at any one trade, and we're, with the ability to kind of focus on thought process and due diligence and research and how to look at these things from different perspectives. It's not telling you how to trade, it's giving you an idea of how you can. And man, for me, that was huge. Once I got enough pieces of the puzzle together, I kind of felt a little bit more comfortable in my own plays.
Yeah, how long have you been with us, J. Ruff? When did you join Hell's Trading Floor?
I'm trying to think back. I think it's only been about a month and a half, maybe 2 months. Not too long after the beginning of the year. I've been following Matt Kors for almost a year, months and months and months, and I got the tip of the channel and you and everything from there, and just kind of stumbled in from there.
Oh, we're glad to have you with us. And I got to say that it's been really great having you here on these streams.
This has been nice. A breath of fresh air, man.
Appreciate it.
It really has.
It's been nice to have all the professionals be able to chat with us on stream. If you're watching us on YouTube and you're not a member of Hell's Trading Floor, occasionally we'll do these specialty streams where we'll have the professionals join, and they're free to chat with me on stream and offer their thoughts. J. Ruff is one such professional, also a moderator in the Discord, and we've been trying to get a little bit of perspective from other members of the Discord as we learn a little bit more, develop our trading strategies and thesis. We throw ideas back and forth, and that's usually how we trade at Hell's Trading Floor. We open up a voice chat, and everyone does all their DD and prep for the morning together, and everybody's free to throw ideas back and forth and make call outs, compare screener results, and things like that. And we find that helps everybody in the long run with their trading strategies, trying to find plays early on in the morning. And for me, I'm usually not up this early. It's difficult for me because I'm on the Pacific Coast. So if you need to catch up on your DD, if you're like me, you kind of like roll over with one squinty eye in the morning and just look at your portfolio and go like, eh. and then you
Someone's
just
flashing some.
roll back
Sorry
over.
to
It's helpful for me.
jump in. Someone's flashing some really big orders on the level 2. I see a lot of strong support at 179, a block of 35,000 shares. Another 10,000 at 22,000. It's going way too fast. I can't keep up. 180 now.
Wow.
But they're flashing some really, really big orders.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the. Let's go ahead and take a look at unusual whales and see what we find here. I want to know what the unusual whales flow is looking like.
Also, we seem to have bounced off the support that we have ever since after hours on Friday.
Very nicely too.
Sorry, pre-market today even.
Yeah, maybe I will regret selling those $1 calls after all.
Yeah, can't regret taking profit.
No, you really
Yeah.
can't. I mean, 100%
If it's
profits.
green, you made money.
Yeah, but I mean, I've also got $2.50 strike calls for April, so I'm not complaining. Like I still got,
Yeah.
I've got, I think I've still got, I've still got about 50. I've still got about 50 call options between all of my other positions.
One thing for sure, like I don't, I'm not gonna regret, or I'm not gonna miss the opportunity to take profit. So the ones that I had for the 18th, they were up 200%. I had 10 contracts, sold 5 of them, got my money back and some. The other 5 contracts is just all house money. I can, no matter what happens to that, I still won because I took
Yeah.
profit. I'm saying, and I'm playing with house money. So that's something that I do, and I learned that. Matt Kors, of course, and True Demon. I see him do that a lot too. So that's one thing that I picked up for sure. Got to take profits and don't feel remorse or anything after you've done the trade and you see the stock come back up, because that's when the psychology takes over, and you don't want the psychology to take over. You want it to be, like a job.
It's all about a trading plan.
Yeah, it's important to have a trading plan. For me, I knew that this resistance would be difficult to break through, so $2 is going to be tough. It's going to take a lot of buying. So when we get to that point, when you hit that resistance and you see rejection, you just take a little bit of profit and then you wait for that consolidation to go buy the dip. What's more, that high risk trade that's expiring this Friday, that's extremely risky. Taking like a 250 call for this Friday, that's high risk. Like that's not something that you should really consider for like a good trading plan unless you're buying. If you're buying a whole bunch of like calls and you're buying shares and stuff, and you think that the volatility like it could break out like that quickly, I definitely think $2 is easily attainable. I was actually saying it on our professionals analysis meeting just yesterday afternoon. Um, but I didn't necessarily expect us to break through it and just go straight to the moon from there first thing in the morning. This was actually still kind of a surprise to me that we went straight for $2 in pre-market and we opened up at 180. That's pretty amazing to me. So I wasn't expecting it to happen so quickly, but it's nice when it does. But I still know that resistance exists there. So it's important to stick to your trading plan. For me, my trading plan is hold on to my shares no matter what, and keep buying those, and I'll keep flipping options to try and scalp profits, and then buy more shares, and keep doing that over and over and over again as I'm trying to accumulate a bigger position.
So right, we're doing an inverted head and shoulders on the 1 minute.
Right on. So let's go take a look at some whale flow. 10,000 premium. Okay, this is market makers.
I'm gonna feed you some questions from the live stream questions after that.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Verde. Let me go ahead and jump back over to my Discord. I wasn't ready for the cactus picture that casual fool sent in the Discord. I wasn't ready for that. It's the first thing that I see when I open up. That's genius. Okay.
So, first question is, with expiry this week, can we expect lots more short exempts and shorts to keep these options worthless
Oh, count on it.
MULN?
Oh, count on it. They're going to try so hard to shove this thing down. They're going to try so hard. But the beautiful thing is that if people keep buying shares and keep pushing the price up and keep resisting that, then they just end up digging their own grave. This kind of FOMO can really hurt them. So
it's one of the top 3 tickers trending right now. It's getting a lot of attention.
yeah, this thing has
Mhm.
this thing has way too much attention. Market makers are really in trouble right now. Because it's not a matter of liquidity for them. They have so much money, okay? They can keep buying the shares no matter at what price. But doing so will create a net loss for them when we get to these levels. If they have to keep buying, it's going to push all of these options into the money. So what they are really trying to do is trying to keep it under control by using short exempts. And like I said, a short exempt, if you don't locate the share for borrowing, it's just a naked short. For market makers, they only get 4 days since the date of the trade, that's T plus 4, before those become a failure to deliver. And they only get 2 days after that, for a total T plus 6, for them to close that failure to deliver. Otherwise, the SEC or FINRA can step in, start fining them every day that they don't deliver those shares. They take even bigger losses, and they're forced to cover anyway because the automated trading system will close them out. So it's supposed to be handled by an algorithm in computers the whole time. So they're really not supposed to be able to have a hand in it. They're just they're just providing liquidity to the market, or at least that's how it's described and how it's supposed to work.
I think 210 million shares in the first under hour of trading is quite successful liquidity.
Yeah, and if
I
you
would
look
have
at the
to agree.
volume profile, it's quite stable. As in, yes, it is decreasing, but usually would have been dead by now.
I'm just I just noticed my Pfizer play is up really high right now. It went up to $52. I think I called that out Wednesday. Did I say Pfizer Wednesday? I was like, I'm just gonna get some $60 calls, and now it's up to $52 in on the share price.
Moderna's up 18% right now, and Armed's up almost 10 as well.
That's the thing of beauty. I think my calls don't expire until April, so fuck it, I'll hold on to it. All right, let's go catch up the chat.
One more question, jumping off another ticker now. One of our favorites is Prog. We're just gonna leave MULN cool off a bit. So on Prog, someone is asking, what are your thoughts on Prog this week, being earnings are Thursday?
Well, let's go take a look at a couple of things. I'll go check out the flow on Prague. Doesn't look like it's getting much attention. The big thing that I've been looking for Progenity is for that preclinical trial data to finally be released. That's my main thing that I'm looking for. That preclinical data for Precludia is what's necessary to actually give some attention to the stock, because the Precludia rule out test will be the first marketable product that Progenity will be able to enter into the market, and they'll be the first comers to that market. It's like a $30 billion market. So if coming out of the gate they are able to develop the first rule out test, they can be the first ones to capture the largest share of that $30 billion market. And even if they got like just 10% of that, it would immediately provide more revenue than they have had in all of their last 10 years being as a company. They would immediately jump in revenue. And of course that would take time to develop, but that's what investors are waiting for. They're waiting for that product to be proven. They're waiting for that news. So if that gets included in the earnings call, if they disclose that here for earnings week, I think that would absolutely kick off some new volume spikes, bring in buyers, and get attention back onto the stock. But at the moment, Progenity is a long play. We're waiting on the company to show some more strength and actually demonstrate that its product is viable. And I have the utmost faith in the company. I've got I've got like 200 leap options for 2024. Like I've got such a large position in Progenity. I just don't
There's a lot
I
of
don't
us in
feel
here who are very strong on Progenity.
yeah. There's a lot of us that are so strong on Progenity. There's a lot of us in here. So
I'm 11,000 shares deep myself.
geez. So yeah, like everybody else that keeps asking me literally every single day, like I do an update on Progenity every single day. But as you can see, like the options are just not. There's no options flow. There's not a lot of attention. So there's not much to do with it. There's just and I'm sorry if that disappoints you. But I'm just being realistic that like a lot of attention on stocks like this move with the market. So move on the options market, I should say. But we can go take a look at Progenity on the technical side and just see what's up. Looks like Tesla is no. Ooh, it just broke down below that megaphone pattern. Well,
I'm in
I'm.
Tesla. I just took a position this morning.
Oh well, yeah. I hope it bounces for you. We'll
Got in
come.
pretty early, so I'm up.
Oh, okay. Good on you. We'll come back to that. So Progenity. This is what I've been looking at with Progenity. I don't know if this ends up being kind of like the True Trading Group triangle or something like that. I don't know, but yeah. Anyway, Progenity. I've got this Fib extension here. It's bounced twice off of support, off of a dollar 10. What I'm looking for is Progenity to re-challenge this 165 resistance and actually break up above. It's got to get above this 240 resistance though. That's what really needs to happen. Once it breaks out above this, that's when Progenity can really run. The thing that's holding Progenity down is that the company is holding on to preclinical trial data. They're not willing to release it for whatever reason. I'm hoping it's not a signal that it's bad news, that it's not what they expected. I don't think that's going to be the case, but we're waiting, and they're keeping people in suspense, and they're not disclosing the information, and that's a little bit frustrating because they are obligated to their shareholders to disclose that information, but they just haven't yet, and they've given themselves they have a lot of time to deliver that information, or rather they did, but now they're coming up on the end. Before the end of March, they're going to have to disclose that info. So that's just what we have to wait for.
As many mamas have said, prepare for the worst and hope for the best.
That's pretty much it. So since earnings coming up this week, the 17th, so Thursday will probably be a big day for Progenity, sure. But I'm just gonna hang on until I see some bigger indicators. Earnings isn't everything, and just it's not exactly a good idea to trade earnings. I've had the rug pulled out from underneath me on earnings on many stocks, but Progenity would be the exception for me just because. Well, I mean, it's at its support. It's touched it now 4 times, and I don't see it breaking down below this. I mean, it could happen, I guess. Anything can happen, but there's a lot of good things going for the company. So I'm gonna wait until after earnings before I do anything. I'm probably not gonna add any more to my position just because I have so much leverage in Progenity. Like 20% of my portfolio is exposed to Progenity. So I don't need to add any more leverage to myself. I trade margin, so I have to be careful. I'm not going to add more to Progenity in case like they do engineer another sell off or something like that. Even if I think that's not going to happen, like I'm not going to add more to my position. But if I were looking to make an entry into Progenity, then I would say that this is an excellent entry point because your risk that you're risking, what is this, like 30 cents, 20 cents, maybe not even. Progenity, the only reason why this entire sell-off happened in the first place is because when Progenity reached this $6 price, the company continuously diluted and just they blew up their float like a balloon by about 3 times, and they really that I hate it that companies do this. They protect their biggest shareholders, and then they kind of just kick their retail shareholders in the nuts and say thanks for your cash. Um, it's a vicious business model, but that's what business school teaches people to do. I still think that Progenity is a good company, but this really shows me where their priorities lie as a company. They've never answered any of my investor relations messages. They've never answered any of my emails, and they really haven't cared what I have to say about their stock. They just don't want to listen to me. So fine, whatever. Fuck their executive board as far as I'm concerned. They'll do whatever they want to do. But the stock itself, the company itself, it's still good. It's a good growth stock. So, um, you know, and I feel good that I was able to call out this squeeze before it happened. My entry was at $1.20 on Progenity, so I'm perfectly happy with how things shook out going into November with this squeeze up to $6. We'll go ahead and head back over to MULN, see where we're currently at. So a little bit of rejection.
I see a few fairly large Twitter accounts, and one of the big allegedly whales from Prague is now deep into MULN. If you remember the Mongol Twitter account.
Oh, is he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember the guy. He's very late. He's very late.
And Johnny Love or whoever.
Yeah, Johnny Love was trying
He
to get
was-
me to jump onto his stream
could
last
jump on ours.
last night. If somebody wants to message him, I'll be happy to take him in on a call if he wants to chat with us. But I told him that I I haven't been able to even consider jumping on my own streams the last few days because I've been so busy with work. He's been understanding though. But yeah, if somebody wants to go over to Johnny's stream and message him and let him know that we're live, I'll be happy to have him on. He can join us here on the Discord.
Also, for those that are listening, if you're ever wanting to get more information on any of the plays that we are in, we're live bell to bell every day in voice chat and House Trading Floor. So that's always a way. Like it's hard to schedule streams with our current work situations. So.
Oh wow, Red Hot Trades are on this as well.
What's that?
Red Hot Trade. It's one of the guys from, I believe, Unusual Whales.
Is that a fact?
I think so. If he's not one of the developers, he is definitely good friends with that bunch. Because he posted actually his trading method, which is called Red Hot Trades. So he goes into the hot options chains and picks a few, and then plays them.
Wow, no kidding. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Some big guys.
That's pretty cool.
Some big guys on it.
I'm pretty thrilled with where MULN is at right now. But all the same, I'm gonna wait for a better entry here. If I see MULN touch 140, that'll be my signal to buy. I'm just gonna wait for this bounce. It is breaking down below this this ascending support, so this is my signal to hold off on any purchases. I'm gonna wait for that dip.
You have a question in chat from Punch Kicker. It says, "Can you talk about the warrants that can be exercised around 650?"
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, Johnny Love actually just messaged me.
I was just gonna
Hey.
tweet at him.
That's funny. Yeah, he just messaged me on Discord. Yeah, we can talk about the warrants really quickly. So the warrants that what was going on with that is that Asusa was in on the previous company. There's NETE, which was the ticker before MULN. They reverse merged into MULN Automotive Inc. and created the MULN ticker. Asusa was part of the financing that NETE had, so they still had outstanding warrants for NETE, and those worked out to a conversion of, I believe it was 68 cents, I think 68.77 cents. Those have now been converted in the new filings for MULN, and now it works out to about an $8.84 exercise price. So that's now what's agreed upon for MULN. So before Asusa can exercise any more of its warrants, which is part of what it was using in order to hand off a whole bunch of shares to its buddies and allow them to gain such a huge position in MULN, Asusa has basically handed all that off to those partners. And now they've run out of warrants that are exercisable at the 68.77 cents, 0.6877. They've run out of all of that, so they don't have any of those left. They can't exercise way down here anymore, and they now are only able to profit off of the warrant exercises if the price goes up to $8.84. It has to go above that in order for them to actually sell to anybody for a profit.
This might be our bounce on MULN.
It's starting to look like it.
If you do the fib from the previous day, got the 50 retracement.
That is just the silliest thing I ever did see. I went and looked at the options chain, and the $4 calls are up 1,200% because they were 1 cent before and they had no ask. They're now 15 cents. They're now 15 cents on the ask. I'm just gonna go ahead and respond to Johnny Love here.
Yeah, there we go. It's looking like a nice engulfing candle on the 5 with a higher low. Want a little bit of confirmation? Switch to the 3D.
If we do get a bounce here, that would be very nice. I'm still gonna have this. I'm gonna still set this support here. Let me also add the VWAP. Oh, do I already have? Oh, I do have VWAP on here. Okay, we're trading below VWAP, so we might bounce here.
Hey, True Demon, are you friends with Astro on Discord?
That guy Astro? No, I'm not.
Okay.
A lot of people asking, when do I sell on MULN? Financial advice, but profits are profits, man.
Okay. So I'm going to address this. I don't give price targets and I don't tell people when to buy or sell, so don't ask me. That's not something that I do here on this channel.
Yep.
Everybody has to make that decision for themselves. My personal philosophy, at least when it comes to this stock, is I see that market makers over leverage the hell out of themselves, and I'm absolutely a revenge trader in that I I have a chip on my shoulder about what market makers and hedge funds did during the 2008 crisis. Really, it was hedge funds over leveraging themselves and the big banks on Wall Street. But those sons of bitches can burn in hell, and I don't care what anybody says about my trading strategies, but I want to see them burn. So anytime I see an opportunity to jump in on a stock and kick them in the gonads, I am going for it, man. No questions asked. And this was a perfect opportunity. Like when I saw how much short exempts were on the table, it was
Oh my
like
god.
like on February 22nd there was 4.2 million, and then on the 23rd and 24th there was let's see, what was it?
We were
You
in
know what? I'm just
shock.
gonna go ahead. I'm just gonna go ahead and show everybody my.
We were in literal shock.
Oh, all right. Johnny wants to come on to Hell's Trading Floor. I'll go ahead and send him an invite.
Awesome.
Okay.
It looks like Astro might have joined the Discord just now too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when people when I've noticed too, I did this too. Myself included, back in the day, when people ask, price targets and when to sell, I think a lot of times what people are asking is, how can you trade? How do I trade? And that's one of the things that has been so awesome about our growing community is you get to see that, but you get to see it from different angles and different ways. And it starts to make sense when people are like, hey, no financial advice. It starts to finally make sense. They're not just being a jerk. They're being like, well, there's so many different things to consider. Here's many of them. And that's how you build your trading plan.
Well, there is that, and also the philosophy that we go on with this community here. Like, I've seen so many other communities that just give you like a screenshot and they say entry this, stop loss this, price target this. Which, yes, if you want to follow someone blindly, go ahead. That's the man that gets a fish from someone. But if you teach the man how to fish, then they can just fish for themselves for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
So it's very strong emphasis on education, I would say.
True. Johnny Love and True Demon, is that true love?
That's amazing.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
You
Get out.
you
Get
too.
out right now.
That's amazing.
I got my
Hell yeah.
Oh man.
Astro did just link up too.
Yeah, I'm looking at his DM. He asked me to check DMs on Twitter. So Astro's. I'm not sure if he wants me to share this at all, but let me see.
Probably not.
Probably not. It seems pretty proprietary. Oh man, the Twitter thread. Oh my god, I've got over 500 notifications on Twitter.
Rest in peace, GD.
Oh god, my inbox is gonna detonate.
Oh shit. The SPRT repeat.
Man, I couldn't keep up making memes with the price with the Grim Reaper, man, with SPRT.
The SPRT repeat. Wow.
Yeah, well, once we figure out a few things, I want to talk about SPY for a bit. Seems to be having a nice run up today, bounced off 419. I'm expecting to see it maybe go all the way up to 423, where we have a bit of resistance. But you're a bit in of a neckline type thing if you consider after hours and pre-market of a potential double bottom.
Potential double bottom since
just in the after hours and pre-market. And then I saw a news coming from think was market news that Zelensky wants to talk on Wednesday in the Congress. Will address the Congress virtually on Wednesday.
Oh, all right.
So just something to keep an eye out on.
Yeah.
Because also there was a bit of news over the weekend where I think it was a New York Times reporter that got shot dead, and then another one injured. So I think this is going to be playing a bit closer to home and might be felt a bit stronger.
Yeah, I did hear about the I heard
Absolutely
about the
tragic.
journalist that got hit. Yeah, I agree.
And then Elon Musk trolling Putin and challenging on a one-off 1-versus-1
Oh
over
my God.
Ukraine.
I was
God.
dying. Like, really?
Not exactly what the world
did-
needs right now, but you know.
God, man.
He actually tweeted at Kremlin's English translators or something like this, or foreign affairs, and tweeted in Russian as well as in English. So the man is a lunatic.
Elon Musk, man.
Yeah,
Jesus.
because pumping crypto is way too mainstream in 2022.
No, why would we want to why would we want to
Can't even finish it.
Oh man. I'm
Yeah.
floored, man. I'm floored. Okay. All right. So I responded to Astro. Let's see what he
Oh, okay. Do you
got.
need me to give permissions to Johnny or
Yeah,
invite link?
give Johnny permissions. You can add him as a community guest, and just you can tell him that he can join the live stream film studio.
Astro joined as a professional, but I gave him community guest permissions.
I had no idea that he was that it was that urgent.
You're kind of a big deal, man.
Guess we
I
made him $50, at least $50 off calling out MULN, you know?
only
Right.
$50. Man, I'm already up by a few thousand now.
We should hope so, at least.
Yeah, shout out to everybody in the Discord that paid their professional tier with Mullen.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Right?
And
Hell yeah.
for the year.
That does
Yeah,
remind me. I need to. I had sold some puts on Mullen in my Fidelity account. I bet I can close those now. Close
Do you
those
have
for a
his
nice profit.
Discord name?
Astro or Johnny Love?
No, Johnny Love.
Yeah, it's
You can just DM me.
Oh,
I just can't find it.
I got you.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah, Johnny
Just go
Love
ahead.
with 2 N's and 2 Y's.
Got it.
I'm checking in on my Fidelity account so I can close out these puts that I sold. They're probably pretty well in profits right now.
MULN is breaking out of the descending wedge.
I saw that. Yeah.
And it was a proper textbook breakout above resistance and test the old resistance as new established support, and right off the Fibonacci as well. Coincidence?
nice.
I think not.
I think not. Oh, yes. I do want to buy this dip, but I don't want to do options anymore.
That reminds me, I'm gonna check my account that I never use because it's so underwater. I found like 900 shares or 1,000 shares of MULN at an average of I think it was 78 cents or something like that, and I was like, oh my god, when did you buy these?
Whee! It's
Currently up
alive.
126%. Fuck yeah.
It lives.
looks like the SPY is getting some volume too, so we might see a good little rip right here.
Actually, on SPY, I was looking on the 1 hour. Looks like you broke under the bear flag. So you'd see if you want to retest, you bounced off the 420. If you want to retest the old resistance, the old support as new resistance, you're looking at 425 maybe.
Mm.
I'm gonna post it in the live stream chat.
Let's go take a look at this on the 1 minute. Because
Is
who
there-
looks at charts on the 5 minute? How else do you get your adrenaline rush? Oh, yeah.
Man, when I discovered trading view, you can get down to the second. Oh, could be still my heart.
Okay, tech split. Okay, it's bouncing off of the top of this channel. So let's see. They're gonna smack it. They're gonna smack it down. I'm gonna wait. Be patient.
Is there any news today? Any is White House talking or anything like that?
Good question.
The
Actually, I
tips
don't know.
really
I don't
comfy
actually
in
know.
this channel, just barcoding. It's sideways chop city.
Yeah, I don't know.
Libra.
Like what? Like an actual market day that it used to be?
Yeah, right. God forbid.
Like, wow, we're only up 0.5% on the SPY today?
Gasp.
IRNT sold off. That's kind of annoying.
It's because I bought cause.
Yeah,
Damn it,
same.
Boule.
I already had. So I've been buying
but-
and selling that ticker for nonstop, so I'm up nasty.
IRNT also rips on like no volume.
Exactly.
It's an unusual snail.
Hi-yo.
There's people up in the Discord still up like 1,000%.
Yeah.
My youngest has one of the books he's been reading. We looked over yesterday, and he's going, "Hey, Daddy, I'm a snail," and he's like inching across the floor, and we got him a little stuffed snail. And that is literally all I can think of now. It's like, oh my God, you're also an unusual snail.
Okay. So
I wanna
Mullen
see
is.
a break
Oh.
above VWAP.
All right. I just got an update directly from Ortex. Ortex update on Twitter. Mullen update. Following a prospectus sale for up to 228.568 million shares of common stock, filings show significant increases to both outstanding shares and the number of shares excluded from free float. Shares outstanding is now increased to 188.118 million with a free float of 82%. So they grew their free float.
Whoa,
The S3
huge push on the SPY.
Yeah, there's a big push moving these stocks out to a whole bunch of institutions right now. So they're swallowing up most of these shares, which, lo and behold, guess who it is? It's mostly Azusa, Drawbridge, Alt. Who the hell else? Oh, whatever. They've pretty much succeeded in their takeover of Mullen. Like it's pretty much a foregone conclusion. But we'll keep investigating this.
Mm-hmm.
Now, just because Mullen is facing a dilution doesn't mean that that's already happened. Basically, these institutions are trying to acquire Mullen. They pushed the price down, and I believe that they collaborated with market makers in order to get the shares at the cheapest possible price. So, all of that taken into consideration, what's going on right now with Mullen has nothing to do with the dilution. What's going on with Mullen is the fact that market makers are now desperate for liquidity in order to keep the price under control. Or, I'm sorry, they're not desperate for liquidity, they're desperate for shares to keep the price under control. They need more shares on the float in order to control the direction of the stock and keep the price from moving out of their control too quickly. So, can this thing move up to 250 this week? Sure, it's possible. Would that bring a whole bunch of options in the morning in the money? Yeah, totally would. But market makers are going to try to prevent that from happening because they they wrote all these $1 and $250 contracts. So they're not too keen to see all of that money just go fly out the window.
Yeah, this is a make or break time.
Mm-hmm. What we're looking to happen what we want to see is for MULN to continue this breakout and retest this final resistance here at $2. Above $2 is where the delta hedging can start to take place, and these algorithms can start to be like, okay, well, shit. And that's what we're waiting for. And it's a situation, if you're not familiar with what delta hedging is, first let me actually go ahead and pull up those options that I was talking about. We'll go ahead and give you a quick breakdown of what I'm talking about.
It looks like somebody in the chat said that Ortex just tweeted out a correction on MULN.
Yeah, I read that just now. Let's see. Yeah, that's the one that I just read out loud.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was because of their prospectus updating the outstanding shares. There's a whole bunch of shares that they sold to institutions. In fact, they didn't sell it to institutions. Asusa Holdings sucked all the shares out of MULN's treasury and then sold it, turned around right away and sold it to those institutions that wanted it. So that's what really happened.
Yeah, it looks like chat is going a little bit crazier than usual.
It does seem that way.
People.
Welcome everybody
but
for
it's good.
joining in.
Good thing.
I saw we have a new member, Johnny Lawn 79. I'm sorry that I didn't call this out right away. Thank you for becoming a denizen on the YouTube channel. Really appreciate that. Let's go ahead and check out some of the chat. What are my feelings on AMC? I love AMC. AMC is currently not doing very well. It's basing.
I bought
at,
more.
What, like $15? But that's a good entry. I like AMC, and that's about it. AMC's basing right now.
A little below 13 was the bottom of the channel, so I was kind of anticipating quite a bounce.
Yeah, I do think that AMC is due for a bounce. It's there's so much. So I'll get to your question. We're gonna go take a look at the MULN options really quickly. I'm gonna go check out the options pricing for bar chart and see what the OI looks like. And as a matter of fact, Verde, would you be able to help me out? You know what? You're right. Bar chart sucks. Bar chart's a bunch of assholes. They snubbed us 3 times. They snubbed us 3 damn times.
If honestly, Yahoo Finance is it's much more reliable than bar chart when it comes to options, OI, and stuff like this. And we learned that the hard way.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. Fuck bar chart. I hate them. I'm never going to buy your product. I'm not going to purchase your API.
Everyone grab.
We are not a community of extremes.
We're a community of cacti.
Cacti community.
Succulents.
All right. So here we've got the gamma ramp illustrated by the Scourge bot. This is available to the professional members of Hell's Trading Floor. And just to clarify, I get asked this all the time. Do you have to be a professional trader to be a professional at Hell's Trading Floor? No, it's just a tier name. Like anybody can be a professional. It's fine. It's not like gatekeeping or anything. You can be a professional. It's fine. It's just a different tier. Professionals, it's a $50 a month subscription. You get access to this tool, which has charts and things like this. It has a lot of tools, so I'll show you some of those. But this is just one of them. This is the short squeeze inspect, and this tells us what the gamma ramp looks like for the options chain. And currently, what you're seeing is the options for March 18th through April 14th. That's the 2 monthly expirations that are available for MULN right now, and the float in the money is on the Y scale here on the left. As you can see, 43.3% at $2.50. Pretty nice. Right now with the $1, that's like less than 8% of the float is in the money on the $1 strike. So if we see this thing move up to 250, then Yeah, that's a huge gamma ramp. This can actually create a massive supply crisis. The thing is that now with as much as the float has grown, um, thanks to Ortex for adjusting their numbers and demonstrating the growth of the float, this is no longer true. The percentage of float in the money. So this is probably going to shrink significantly. And it's going to, but there's no way to really know those exact numbers because we don't know how many shares those institutions have sold into the market, and if or when they are going to sell those into the market. So that's something to be careful of. But nevertheless, we still pay attention to this because it's based off of the current float that we know of, which last time we looked was about 20 million shares. Now it's somewhere 160 million. They grew the float by a huge margin.
GameStop is selling off right now, by the way.
Is it really? Man, that sucks.
85.
$85.
84. Good time to buy.
They're beating it up.
Yeah, they're beating it up.
For real.
TD also, if you
Spicier
wanna
than
show
a chili cook-off.
What was that, Verde?
if you wanna show up the heat map to see visually, it's easier to see
Yeah, we can do
which
that.
dates are targeted by. Holy.
Is that Scroogebot Dev? Which channel do I have to be
Yeah.
in for that?
I posted it in the live stream chat.
Oh, thank you. That cactus showed up in my live stream chat again immediately.
You say that, and somebody just put it in the chat in YouTube. I try to be a professional cacti inserter.
This cactus shit's
PD,
gotten
you're
out of
about to
hand.
blow this cactus stuff up, bro.
Oh my god.
You're making cactus iconic.
Trey's got Subway cups and lamps, and Matt Kores has his ducks, and I have cacti. Why?
And I've got yeah.
Oh, jeez.
I'm dying. Oh god.
Oh, it
Oh,
looks like Astro's in the VC now.
oh, dope.
That is so funny.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Hey, Astro.
What's up,
How you doing?
Astro?
How you doing? How you doing?
What up?
Hey, let me apologize real quick. Demon, I saw that you saw that I was having some banter with Matt, and just to be completely clear, that's never like anything of animosity. It's a running joke.
I gotcha. Well, I'm not
Yeah.
in on the joke, and I don't think anybody else is. I took it seriously.
Well, my apologies for that perception.
Yeah,
I've got
that's my
some
boy.
cool. So I've got some interesting data points. The majority of them I want to talk to you about in private for the time being, just because I don't want to throw any information out there that isn't confirmed yet. But one of the most interesting points that me and a buddy of mine came across has to do with loan density.
Okay, so you're talking about the cluster of loans that were, as in the value of the loans, or as in the number of loans taken?
So the amount of shares per loan.
Shares per
Yes.
loan. Okay. So
Yeah.
so based on value, roughly.
Yeah, I think that at least my interpretation so far is that we have rehypothecation going on. That's kind of, we've already kind of known that for a while.
Can you explain rehypothecation for the viewers, because it's not something that we discuss on this channel very often. So if you could explain that really quickly.
Yeah, sure. So basically, when you have some form of loan, you have an interest rate to that, and you have some notional value that's appraised at the beginning and at the end when the loan matures. And in the event that the person taking on the loan defaults on it, you can actually, as the lender, resell that. And you have this concept of rehypothecation, as in hypothetically, if we were to resell this loan, what would we be able to get out of it? What would the new hypothetical maturity valuation come out to? And you see this happen a lot all over the economy. It happens with car loans, happens with mortgages, happens with anything where you're literally loaning an amount of money. And so that happens also in equity markets. So if you have a set of shares that get packaged up together, they're sent off to the securities lending market, and then for some reason that loan of shares either doesn't come to fruition, or the person that was supposed to be paying their interest rate on it defaults to whatever degree, you can have that repackaged. Or in another instance, which is what I think is going on here, is they're taking these toxic loans because they're filled with shares that don't actually exist from the underwriter, but instead were issued by a mutual fund, a pension fund, any of these fixed income based entities, and
they're giving them to the mutual funds and the retirement funds.
Right. So now they're contaminating.
Oh my God. This is the same shit that happened in 2008. This is what they did with
That's
CDOs.
why I wanted to talk to you. Yeah.
Oh
it's
my
literally
God.
a parallel of 08, but with the equities market. And ETFs are, the workhorse to that, because ETFs are composed by BlackRock, Vanguard, etc. And those are typically the custodial agents to the securities lending market. So they have the authority to create shares via their ETF baskets. And when that happens, they have the authority, they have the credit rating, the authority to do this, because they're BlackRock, they're Vanguard, they're these buddy institutions with big governments that have helped. Well, they claim to have remedied some financial crises, but we all know.
We all know who's really behind it.
Really
okay, so it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny if you actually go all the way up to the top. You know that I'm sure you know this. BlackRock is the largest hedge fund in the world, and they own something like, they have majority ownership in more than 50% of the equities market in the United States and in fact the world. But did you also happen to know that since BlackRock is a publicly traded company, they have their own set of shares? Do you know who the biggest majority owner is in BlackRock?
Hold on, let me think for a second.
Okay, I will give you
Would it be
one.
the Treasury?
No.
Or the Fed, I mean?
No.
They're a huge counterparty to.
It's Vanguard.
I'm gonna fucking kill myself.
Vanguard owns BlackRock. They have majority ownership and Vanguard's a
If
private.
everybody has exposure, then everybody's gonna be fine. We'll just tangle everything up like a set of headphones, and when you try to pull on one end, you're just gonna. It all works out.
Yeah. So if you follow this chain all the way up to the top, and where you find where all these companies are owned, BlackRock owns all the companies, and Vanguard has like a minor position in all the other companies, but Vanguard itself owns most of BlackRock.
Did you also know that BlackRock was consulted during the 08 financial crisis? They absorbed a lot of the liabilities and toxic assets that were on everybody's balance sheets.
Yes. I think that they didn't have a choice because the entire economy was melting down, and they knew that there was going to have to be somebody to pay for it, and they were the only ones that were able to absorb the cost.
But it's okay because Fink's a philanthropist.
Right, sure. Fink is a Fink.
Give me another one-syllable F word.
Yeah. We'll pass since we're on live stream right now. And I'm sorry if I didn't warn you ahead of time, but I think you knew already. Okay, so
Let me send you one more screenshot real quick.
Yeah, feel free to send it in the live stream chat. I'm watching it right here. That's actually quite upsetting. So if you're watching, so you're basing this theory of this rehypothecation theory,
which is not really new, by the way.
Right.
That's kind of been floating around, but this might be a new lens to look at it through that could provide it some substance.
And you're trying to detect it through the changes of loan density throughout various trading weeks against ETF packages, I'm assuming.
So ETFs definitely have to do with the intervals of it, and also the redemption and creation process that ETFs provide. Right now, between single equity and ETFs, I have not aggregated that data yet. Okay. But I just sent you XRTs over Twitter DM. Take a look at that.
Okay, I'll take a look at that. Tim Freeman, if you could please stop doing one-liner chat responses. You're kind of spamming the chat. If you wouldn't mind just
I
not
got
doing
him.
that. You don't have to time him out. We'll just let him know. We might have to.
Okay,
We
I'll
might.
deal
We're
with him.
actually getting to the point where we might have to implement slow mode. It's the first time that we've had to consider doing that.
Isn't that cute?
Nah, I think we're good. I think we're good on that. They're just a little excited over there.
Everybody's
Yeah,
happy,
yeah.
man. They're excited.
I'll think about it. I'll think about it. Okay, that's interesting. All right. So what are you doing? Where are you getting this data from, Sam?
So this is from Ortex, which
Okay.
I know some people kind of throw a fit about, but there is no 100% surface area capturing short interest provider out there, and Ortex has everything from Standard and Poor's, which is considerable. But nonetheless,
I'm good with Ortex. They're here in our chat. We talk
Yeah.
all the time.
oh, that's awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
They're
Peter.
members of
Yeah,
Health
Peter.
Trading Floor.
Yeah,
That's
Peter
awesome.
Hillerberg, one of the co-founders, actually, we interviewed him and we cleared up a lot of the misconceptions about Ortex. There's a video out on that, but
Oh, it always bothers me when I hear people kind of, you know.
yeah, I know
Yeah,
it's
like-
frustrating.
It's
It's frustrating.
miscommunication.
But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, no, you can send people to me. I'll set them straight. I'll let them know. I'll let them know how messed up their
Salute.
perceptions are.
Salute. If you want to pull up what I just sent you on stream, if you have the time, real
Yeah,
quick,
absolutely.
I can walk you
I'll,
through this.
Okay. Yeah.
it
So
doesn't show dates.
this is based off of XRT. This is XRT's net lending for the day and loan density. So if you're pulling this from Ortex, are there any data points in Ortex itself through their interface that shows anything like this, or is this strictly?
No, these are aggregates. So
Okay.
the loan density is the total number of loans. Or I'm sorry, the total shares on loan divided by number of loans. Right, that's a pretty simple formula.
Gotcha.
As far as net lending, that is your total returned minus your total borrowed on the day.
Okay. You're
which
doing this
actually
with
should be flip-flopped, but
I can tell you're doing this with Matplotlib, aren't you?
no, this is actually Google Sheets.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It looked
I'm
like
gonna be-
Matplotlib.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna be implementing automations to this. I just haven't had time to because I'm just exploring right now. But you can there's no x-axis labels, but this goes all the way back to I think mid 2017.
We might be able to help you out with this, Sam. So we've got we've got ScourgeBot, which we've been building on our end.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
That's so freaking cool.
Verde, would you kindly throw some queries out here into live stream chat so that Sam can see
Actually, I bet
some of the charts?
If you were to look up short exemptions during those periods where loan density is at an all-time high, I'm sure they'd be going off like crazy.
Yeah.
Can you please send me the dates you're looking in between?
Yeah.
Just because on the stream it's the x-axis is cut off.
Right.
Yeah. It actually doesn't show on my end either. I can't see the x-axis. It doesn't say
it's a
the
Google
dates.
Sheets thing.
Unfortunately.
No, it's all good.
That's all right. I'll run the entire 2022.
Well, we'll go ahead and keep checking out some of this other data. So I imagine that you've been paying close attention to MULN recently, and this is part of what's got your attention.
Oh, I've been pretty jacked, to say the least.
I'm pretty stoked as well. We got in on this on the 22nd of February, and I'm not sure how closely you followed the research that we were doing, but there's go ahead. Stop me if I'm about to re-explain something.
No. This has been amazing. Like, my hat's off to you for not only finding it, but putting in the time and the grit to put together the story and the data. Like, it's incredible when you see people do that on their own initiative.
It's I can't take all the credit. So it wasn't even me just finding it by happenstance. Luckiest Sevens, who's actually one of the influencers in the BBIG community, he brought it to my attention. He's a member here at Hell's Trading Floor, and I know he does frequent space calls on Twitter. He called this out to me.
You a beer.
yeah. He pointed this one out to me. He's like, he was using ScourgeBot and he was just checking some tickers that he was paying attention to, and Mullen was one of them. And he used it, and he's like, is 22% short exempts of the total trading volume for the day normal? And I was like, no. So I looked at it, and it was
Completely normal.
22.
Just don't look.
Yeah, it was actually a freaking scary amount. Let me go ahead and run an inspect
Whenever
on Mullen.
you enter voice chat with guys, flags go up.
So let's see. I'll do February 15th through. Well, we'll do it until. Let's see. I need to go further back. Sorry.
No, you're good. And by the way, that date range, do 2019. Let's see, December 1st of 19 until about April 8th of 2020.
Yeah. So if you want some help with some of this data analysis, this is part of what we're working on. We're actually working with Ortex to try to get direct access to their API through a Python interface, and we're going to wrap it up. And that's part of our work with Peter Hillerberg, one of the co-founders at Ortex. Is we're trying to work out a way that we can safely access the data without breaking their data sharing policies and agreements with the exchanges. They do have some limitations for what they can share, and they also don't want to piss off their data providers, understandably. But
Right.
we're working with them to create a Python wrapper that we'll be able to integrate with ScourgeBot. It's going to take a while, but if we do that, we'll get some of this automation together. And we're using Matplotlib with Python
Nice.
to create most of these charts. So
Well,
if you
I'm
want,
definitely not writing my own wrapper right now. That's about halfway done. That provides a REST interface. So that's great.
fantastic.
If you look in Livestream chat in the Discord, you'll see what ScourgeBot is putting up on that MULN.
Yeah. So this is what caught our attention. If you go way back to let's see, it was it was the entire week of like going on from February 4th onward. All of the short exempt ratio, which is that's just simply short exempt volume divided by total volume, multiply that number by 100 to get that percentage ratio. It was over
Right.
21. It was over 20% for a solid 2 trading weeks. I'm like, what the hell is this?
This
So
looks like a weather map of Tornado Alley during like the height of summer. This is just so much red.
yeah, it kind of skews the eyes because the heat map is just based off of the biggest differences in the figures, so there will always be like this much red unless there's like almost no differences between the numbers. But we're trying to work on fixing the gradients. It's gonna Matplotlib kind of sucks, honestly. It sucks.
We're moving on.
It kind of sucks to work with, but it gets the
Yeah,
job done.
We're moving on to Seaborn.
Intel's down.
Yeah, but in any case, like you look at these numbers with the short exempt ratio as huge as they were, and this is exactly what we're talking about. Why Mullen got our attention. I was looking at it on it was the 22nd when I was looking at it. I'm like, what the hell was going on all these last 3 trading weeks? So I took a position on the morning of the 22nd in pre-market, and that day the short exempt volume was 4.2 million, which was it was like,
Oh my god.
yeah, it was like 20%. It was like 20% of their free float.
Well, then you saw like the 16,000% volume burst out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like that of the average. What was that?
Well, nowhere.
right.
From
I've also
air
got
quotes
real
nowhere.
quick, Demon, I just sent you a Polygon API key that I have. There's no throttling, no rate limits. It's got options, equities, crypto, basically everything. I pay a pretty
Excuse
penny
me?
for that.
A Polygon.
I am very tingly, very tingly right now.
We were just considering
God.
buying Polygon IO
consider-
access.
Consider that my gift
That's
to you
crazy.
for your work. I just sent you it on Twitter.
Well, shit. Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
shit, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have that like
Right.
GIF in my head of, did we just become best friends?
I've been trying to put together all of my own little automations for the past.
Oh well, shit. You're in luck. We have a development team. We can work with each other.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, let's do it, man.
Wizards.
I
Wizards.
I've got some pretty eccentric ideas that have actually been working out.
So you should then get acquainted with our feature request channel. I'll tag you into it, where you can just go and put your wet dreams into text,
Yeah, let's do it.
and we'll take care of it. You will see Occam's. I don't know if you came across him. He is a very, very good researcher and analyst on our team, and he basically wants us to implement a screener, but basically everything could be automated. And
Right.
that's also the perk of the professionals. Like if you even if it's a simple like 1348 EMA crossover and you want to scan the entire market on a given time frame,
Oh, yeah.
we can just do that. It's gonna take a bit of time, but we want to get there.
I've got a pseudocode model that I'll send to you that has actually been. I've been toying with this approach, this architecture, if you will, and it's pretty quick to set up and implement. It's obviously data heavy, but if you have like a decent server that has a couple hundred gigs worth of SSD space, you can actually cache most of like the important tickers. Obviously, you don't want to go through everything. But as far as like tickers that are of interest, you could, for example, scan sentiment across Wall Street Bets or Twitter or whatever, and then add those to a queue to be scanned for, and then you can cache all that.
We're caching most of our tickers based off of the FINRA short ratio and short data volume files. We're finding the interesting tickers there, and then we're caching it with a Redis server. So that's kind of how we're using it. That's pretty close to our structure.
There you go.
It's not a very big server right now. 250 gigs space would actually cost us a little bit too much at the moment. We're still working. We're still working our way up there, but at the moment we're still just not pulling in enough cache. Like we were considering Intrinio API, and like I was like, I wonder how much this one costs. It would be nice to have real time and sales data for options. And then I was like, oh my god, it was it was $1,200 a month. I'm like, fuck that.
No, here's the strategy. See, you get a T6 AWS server, and then you buy calls on Amazon. You're hedging not only as a developer but also as a trader.
I like that plan. But
which TD we have a meeting with Intrinio in about 4 hours, I think.
Oh, nice.
4 hours we're meeting with them. Okay, fantastic. Polygon might entirely replace the need for Intrinio, but probably not totally. We'll see what we can do.
So I got. I'm not sure which channel I should put this in.
Definitely don't put it in the live stream chat. Tell you what, open up a support ticket at the top. If you go up to the community info and go to support channel, you can open up a support ticket that'll create something that only my mods and I can see.
Gotcha. Okay. That's dope. Okay, so Polygon's bugging because it's actually supposed to be this package that I have. That's one of them, and then I also have options.
Look at this bowl flag. Verde, tell me how much you love this bowl flag.
On
MULN.
Oh, never mind. You're a fast one, Astro.
Nice.
I've been a developer since I was 12, so I've been kind of acquainted with shortcuts.
It's a little bit skewed because, gap ups being what they are, but am I showing the right screen?
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
Yes.
Check your DM for a second.
And when I was 12, I mainly specialized in front end of honestly.
I was an HTML developer for about 3 months. Yeah.
Oh man, Goober. I'll just go ahead and tell you this on stream. Are you in here? Are you in here, Goober? Where is he? Goober, welcome
I
aboard.
think he is. Yeah,
Welcome
he is.
aboard.
Yeah, he's in here. Goober's right there.
We've already talked
We got-
about it. Goober, welcome aboard. We'll get you that NDA.
Sir.
That was
He
the
just
most
messaged me.
hilarious. That was the most hilarious DM I've ever seen.
He just messaged me saying, "Get me that damn NDA. We have work to do. This is all the stuff
Yeah.
I've been working on for the last 2 years. Finally found my tribe."
Hell yeah. We're gonna
Hell
create
yeah,
Hell's
Goober.
hedge fund. We're gonna create Hell's hedge fund, guys.
Freaking in the chest.
Oh, can someone look up the short exempts of XRT from November of 19 to April of 2020?
Sure.
And Verde, you should just to show off how easy that command is to run. Would you mind putting it in copy and pasting it into a code block before you print that out in live
So
stream chat?
Say again, 2021, April.
So it'll be November of 2019
November 2019, okay.
to April of 2020. And I know how easy it is. I'm just too stubborn to learn syntax.
And dates,
Don't worry, we have tab
2020,
autocomplete features. You don't
April,
have to
yeah.
remember the syntax. We tell it to you. We've already prepared for your arrival. We've rolled out the red carpet.
If I can't find it on Stack Overflow, just leave me alone.
This is an interesting day.
It's
It
like
really
every
is.
JavaScript framework where I'm like, yeah, it's cool, it's esoteric, I just don't want to use it. I'm joking, by the way. Don't kill me.
I'm a Python developer and an infosec dweeb. I don't. I barely code. Ooh, Pfizer.
Yeah, I just use Metasploit.
Yeah. Meterpreter just keeps getting smacked, though. I haven't been able to get a Meterpreter shell in over 2 years. It's kind of a sad thing.
I think the last time I pulled that off was when XP was still getting support updates. So what, like 2014?
Oh man. I keep running up against products like Cylance and CrowdStrike because that's what everybody uses, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm too lazy to go and write my own malware anymore. I just can't. I can't do it. It's too much work.
I'm surprised we're not losing more viewers over this nerd talk.
We're talking about exploitation and hacking. It's fun. Everybody loves hearing what hackers talk about. Hey, by the way, this is entirely not sponsored by USA Networks or anything like that, but if y'all want to see what real hacking actually looks like, even with all the cinema Hollywood bullshit, watch the series Mr. Robot. It's an amazing series. You will see actual hacking tools and actual techniques used in that TV series. That is the closest to real life that you will ever get. There's no other comparison. It's still got a lot of Hollywood bullshit in it, but it is the closest to reality.
Nah.
They did a dive into that thing that basically, like, if you look at the actual screens that are in that show, they actually show the real commands and they show real hacking lines that they're using in order to actually get into things. Like they pulled in real legit people in order to make sure that the screens that pop up during that show are actually legit.
Mm-hmm. They even made a hilariously they made a cameo mention of Dave Kennedy. He's mentioned several times throughout the series, and he actually I know him. I spoke at one of his conferences before.
Well, actually, you might not know, but TD's real name is Rami Malek.
Rami Malek. Damn it! You weren't supposed to tell them.
By the way, Trey just uploaded a MULN update video.
No kidding.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We just hit
Go.
We just hit 159 support, okay? So this is the time where nobody needs to be panicking right now, okay? This is that deep red candle that they're going to try to scare people out, okay? This is the support that I called out. This is actually where I'm going to look for signs of consolidation to take a position. There's going to be a lot of day traders that are like, damn it, I got screwed, that are going to look to get out. This isn't the time. Not financial advice, all right? But for all of you who are watching, this is when you look for that sign of support and strength and look for that bounce. This is the time to actually get your engine started to take a bigger position.
Dude,
This is what I was
the
waiting
actual fuck? XRT 90% short percentage of the total volume.
Told you.
What the actual fuck?
Told you.
Let's get this up here. Let's get this up.
Now, granted, this was about the precursor time frame to COVID. Regardless, though, you could see that the loan density was at an all-time high.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm listening.
This is really it's really difficult to see, but okay. Holy Jesus. All right, so this is going to be difficult for everybody to see because this chart's so huge. But I'll quickly
grab my
look it
microscope real
over.
quick.
Okay.
You
We
can
got-
pull out the line chart if it's easier.
Oh, can we see that against the chart that I sent? The line chart of the short exempts?
we could try. No, because it'll be too much. It is too much work to split the screen.
See, poor syntax.
See the loan density. I remember the loan density that you were showing, but I don't know what the dates were because we didn't have a x-axis with the dates.
Do you want me to show you real quick just for a point of reference?
Yeah, just give me a date for point of reference to look at the loan density that you were talking about.
Fitzy said that XRT's been on the threshold since January the 7th.
Yeah.
Oh my
It's doing it
God.
again.
So
drop this in.
now, for those of you that aren't familiar, XRT is a major retail brick and mortar store ETF. This contains tickers that you should be very familiar with, including GameStop and also Bed Bath and Beyond. And I don't watch this ETF as much as others, but y'all should feel free to shout out some other tickers. But what you're seeing here, and where my magnifying glass is hovering over, this is the percentage of short over volume. Okay, so the bigger this number is the percentage of shorts over the total volume. When you see a number like 90, that should scare you. That's 90% of the total volume for this trading day was short. That's ridiculous. I've never seen anything like this. I don't understand how this is even possible and how the stock just isn't just tanking.
I put
They're
it in
just
water cooler.
negotiating shorts back and forth.
Well, it's the same thing with the those variable rate mortgages from 08, where you would take a bunch of triple Bs or triple Cs, weight them predominantly within this new composite package, and then throw in a bunch of triple As and triple Bs to offset that composite rating. And I think that's what's going on with all of these equity loans. Because then you're reducing the quality as you're approaching the maturity dates. As that happens, you begin to reduce the yield on those, or the interest rates rather, which is the turnaround of the yield. But because they start to become toxic, because
now they're just
literally
trading
diluted.
risk around and trying to play hot potato with a bomb.
Oh wait until you see this. Hold on.
I think I would rather juggle live grenades.
I'm gonna send you one more chart.
So just for ease, I'm gonna stream your YouTube stream into Discord as well.
Oh, thank you, Verde. Appreciate that.
I'm I'm gonna go ahead and just screenshot that, Astro, whatever you posted in water cooler, because everybody's. I know it's kind of crazy, but everybody's in live stream chat. Whenever we're doing a live stream video,
Oh, I got
we
you.
have a little section for that. But I'll go ahead and pop it up in there.
Thank you.
Okay. Mullen's bouncing. This is the bounce. I'm gonna go ahead and re-enter my position now. That's a nice.
We all tagged you.
That's clear sign of strength. Oh, they're still hitting it. Hold on. What are these guys doing?
Yeah,
What are you
shill.
guys doing?
Shill.
What are
Telling
these
me
guys
bad
doing?
financial advice, Demon? Is that what's going on over here?
It's financial advice for me.
Never.
Hold on, I gotta set my cat free. He's screaming to be let out of his room.
That's what she said.
What's the safe word?
Dude, did you just say meow?
It's a good day, guys.
We have fun here.
Right meow.
Meow.
The safe word is pineapple.
Give me some more gain on that microphone.
No. 8 miles away. The safe word is pineapple juice.
Okay.
Who is that? Pew pew.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Pew Pew. He's like at work, probably, or his phone is in his pants or something. I don't know. It sounds a little muffled.
How's that?
What are you guys doing?
The
What are you
trading
doing
view,
without me?
the trading view alerts that you have set, TD keep going off for MULN. Touching support. Nice.
Yep. They keep hitting it. But I think they're losing control. I'm gonna go ahead and re-enter that position.
Demon, when you're done placing that trade, go to the live stream chat and look at the
Mhm.
chart that I just posted. So the loan density becomes inversely correlated to the cost to borrow per the standard deviation, meaning that when that density soars, it looks like the cost to borrow is reduced, which, in practical terms implies that either the lender is trying to get it off their books or the asset has gone toxic. And that's where you'll see like negative interest rates on some of these loans through Ortex. Also, I don't know if you've seen, but the average loan duration can be as low as like a 20th of a day now on these tickers that retail have been following.
Mm.
Trying to get some confirmation on this bounce being official.
You guys are great. I'm finishing my computer science degree right now, says Blake Stanley. Drop out. Don't do it. Don't do it. Leave. Save what's left of your soul.
Again, not financial advice.
No,
That's
this
definitely-
is educational advice. Get the hell out of there.
I kind of have to
Go to a
actually
boot
stick
camp.
with. I have to be with Astro on this one. I finally completed
I
my.
agree.
So I
I'm a college dropout.
I finished my degree, okay, and honestly, I do regret it.
Chill.
So my thing is, I was a soldier. I was a soldier. I signed up in 2008. Yeah, I know, great timing, right? And I had to use all of my MGI Bill money to bail out my parents out of their house because the 2008 crash killed their business and they lost a ton of equity. The housing
too.
crash killed the equity in their home, so they couldn't qualify for refinancing, and they were about to lose the house. So I had to use my MGI Bill to save them, and I fought for 6 years to get through college. Like since that time, 6 years on and off. Like in total, it took me another 10 years. I finally graduated in 2020. That was when I finally finished my degree. It sucked. It really freaking sucked, man. So that
Dude,
entire
honestly,
time,
like,
those 10
fucking
years,
hilarious.
I spent I spent those at help desk jobs, learning how to hack more effectively, how to program malware. I got certified as a certified ethical hacker um, with the CEH under EC Council certification, which is not a very good certification. I'll just come out and say it for any of those InfoSec guys that are listening. I'm not saying that that's a good certification. It's just what I could afford. But what actually finally got me my break was just working in the field, in the field that I wanted to work in. And I didn't finish my computer science degree until after I had already spent 6 years working in the field in InfoSec. And honestly, I didn't learn a damn thing. It was totally, totally useless. That information was useless. They gave me so much dumb book knowledge that actually wasn't practical in any sense. And I learned more hands on with the tools, learning from people actually doing the work, than any of those books and my professors were ever willing to teach me or capable. And I'm not saying like don't get a degree, but don't expect the degree to teach you how to do your work well. And it doesn't matter what it is. Like this is a high education field. Like college education in InfoSec is expected. And maybe this is an outlier, but like I learned way more just playing with it on my own than college taught me. And honestly, for me, it was a waste of money because I was already a senior in my field by the time I finished my bachelor's degree. So maybe I'm biased and I'm just bitter because I spent a bunch of money that college just sucked out of my bank account that I could have been using to pour into stocks like AMC and GME and make myself rich, whatever. But yeah, I don't think the college was actually particularly useful to me because I was already working in the field and doing just fine without it. It's kind of just like a money sink at this point. It's kind of a
How
joke.
dare you? How dare you accuse of academic institutions of charging egregious tuition fees to provide you a lackluster education in which you could have just gotten it through experience of being a shell? How dare you?
I don't know, man, but if
How
I
dare
am
you?
to rub it in, I got a free education throughout my life. I haven't paid a single fucking
Well,
dime
you know
to
what?
get.
Not all of us can be Romanian exchange students to the UK.
No, I've done my everything in majority of the Europe except the UK. The universities are subsidized by the government.
Yeah. Well, here in America,
That's
Yeah, well, here in America, you're going to
Brother,
have
that's
to take
America.
on
We like
about
to
a
pay.
$250,000 loan. Okay?
Or two textbooks.
Oh, and by the way, you are required to purchase your car insurance, which will eat up more than your tuition fees. So you're going to need about 3
For your car
jobs.
at your university will eat up half of your tuition fees these days.
I'm going to need you to take up about 3 full-time jobs.
It's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Should have just gotten a W3 school certificate.
Yeah, it went
Yeah.
I should have created an LLC years ago. I should have created an LLC
You're welcome.
after I turned 18. I should have created an LLC, got a trading license, and just took in my fucking 7% tax rate on every trade I made. That's what I should have done. That's all that this shit has taught me.
Oh, man.
If I knew that I could just take a 7% tax rate for trading, I would never have even bothered. Oh, God.
The creator says he said W3 certificate, LMAO. Yeah. Yeah. The most cost effective means of academic accolades that exist.
Mm.
Except you live in Europe.
Except if you live in Europe. Amen. Can I go? Hey, is Lever here? Can I go sleep on your porch? I want to come move across the pond, and your porch has a really nice view.
Oh. If you're not buried under the
I think
snow.
I would rather sleep under the stars than live in this country anymore. I gotta be honest with you. At least I know if I catch a cold, then I can go to the hospital and go get some cold pills without having to take a $20,000 ambulance
Just like
ride.
kidney for.
I won't have to sell a kidney in exchange for cold pills.
Welcome to the College of Financial Comedy, folks.
Yes. Sorry. The SPY is doing exactly what I thought. Retested that bear channel, and now it's selling off.
With
Spy.
IWA.
It has a bear channel on the 1 hour. Or even on the 4 hours, yeah.
Welcome to the bear market, guys.
The SPY's been wonky though lately. Though. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it took another small rip all the way back up to 424. Like, I mean, it's just been crazy, bro. You can't predict what it wants to do.
I wouldn't be surprised either, but at the same time, like I have been saying, housing crash, stock market crash, and
Yep.
if this case of rehypothecation holds true that that Astra is talking about here, they're repackaging all of these toxic loans, and I believe it. Okay, I really do, because this naked shorting scam has been going on since, like, honestly, since computerized trading was a thing, since they moved over to the DTCC. The naked shorting, that's always been a thing. They haven't stopped. I don't see it going away unless the SEC finally realizes, like, oh god, these guys have created a financial nuclear bomb that's about ready to go and toxify our entire market. It's gotten to the point where we either have to deal with the problem now, or it will actually destroy the entire economy of the world, because there's a bunch of securities that don't exist just floating in the market that are overdue for delivery. And they've been that way for decades. And, like, think of all the companies that have gone under. It's only because those companies have gone under and those frauds have succeeded in killing those companies that would require them to deliver otherwise. The ones that are being naked shorted, that have a whole bunch of securities that don't exist, that need to be delivered now, are the ones that still have a chance. And AMC, GameStop, BBBY are all candidates. I think MULN might be one too, but more so AMC and GameStop for sure. But if they're letting these guys...
I'll be right back. I gotta make a video. I just found something. Hold on.
Go right ahead, man. See you later. Well, this has been a hell of a day so far. It's only been it's only been 3 hours. Coming up on noon.
Definitely.
Did somebody say something about waiting until $140 before re-entering MULN?
I said 160, but if it does break down below this support, then
Forget about that gap fill. I mean, it's not a big one, but I had said earlier, algos love them gap fills.
yeah, they do.
If anything, you have the gap fill at 150.
Yeah.
So you're not far off.
Yep.
You were 5 cents out basically on the previous candle.
Yeah, still haven't. I still haven't confirmed that. I still haven't confirmed that trade. I'm still waiting. They're trying to hammer this thing down, but they're having a hard time. They are having a hard time. I think they expected a sell-off. They're engineering one, but it ended up creating this falling wedge. So it's not exactly working out.
It's not working out for them.
They're creating a very bullish technical pattern. I don't think they wanted to. I think they wanted to create a death spike. It didn't work. Retail won't sell. This is amazing. Look at how low the volume is compared to the morning. Hell, look at how low the volume is compared to the last two trading days. These big moves.
It's going to be a bad end of the day for them.
This could be a horrible day for them. They really want those $1 in the monies to be at risk. They're trying to get people to to drop out of those. They want those to acquire them. Thing is if people buy all those $1 calls at price and they're not willing to sell them, market maker will actually be in trouble.
Well, and just look how many people are in the 250 calls.
I know. The 250 calls are what will absolutely murder them.
Oh, they're fucked after that.
Yeah. If this thing goes back up above $2, if we pop through it this week, it's gone. Like, they won't be able to stop the momentum.
I'll go do my happy dance now.
Got SPY testing that 420 again. That 420 has just been some crucial number for the SPY lately.
420.69.
You beat me to it.
There's a
been
lot
a dream
of
come
bullish
true making
flow.
money off this.
Go on, sorry.
So it could go down to one. This thing could drop down to 140, but it's like right below the tip of this wedge. It's right below the tip of this falling wedge. It would be really hard for them to get it down that far. There's a lot of support down here. I wish I had time and sales. Time and sales would be so nice on TradingView. It's like the one thing that I'm missing. That and options chain data. I would love to have live real-time and sales options chain data. I wonder if we can talk to TradingView. Be like, hey, can we just make you all of these options? Like, just pay for the API key. We will make it for you because we want this data. We need to have this data. Okay, you pay for the data. All right, add it into your business model. We'll make the interfaces because your devs are slow. All right. I wonder how receptive they'll be to that.
You have Daniel May in YouTube chat saying, what are the signs that we're looking for when the squeeze in, short interest dropping significantly? I really think we should talk about that, man. Just to try to get people, just in case it does squeeze, not everybody's, familiar with how it works or what to do, and
Yeah.
not saying financial advice, but just some pointers on, because like I went to the AMC 72 or whatever it was, so I was kind of like a noob on that kind of stuff, so I didn't really know. But now,
yeah,
like the SPRTs and IRNTs, all these things that are going on now, I'm kind of getting familiar. Well, we have a lot of people out there that don't even know what to expect from it, so we can give some pointers out there to try to help them, maximize their gains and minimize their losses. I think that'll be great.
Yeah, I think we could try and do that. So, one thing that I do want to clarify though before we touch on that is with the short interest, what you're looking at is the short interest of free float, and you need to ignore that because there was a huge amount of dilution. It was honestly a whole bunch of institutions were being funneled shares to them through a toxic financing firm called Azusa Holdings that have been sucking the shares out of MULN, and MULN is obligated to sell the shares at the exercise and conversion price that was set by Azusa. So there's no getting out of that, okay? They're obligated to sell them at the price that was dictated in that contract. And what Azusa's been doing is they take those shares, they hand it off to their buddies at other institutions. Look at companies like All Global Holdings, look at Drawbridge, I forget what the other one was called. There's a whole bunch of them. I guess it doesn't really matter, but it's going to bother me if I don't. Equitas was one of them, and a handful of other smaller firms. So Azusa's they've been diluting MULN's float forcefully and sending those shares and selling them immediately to other institutions that want to acquire MULN, and in doing so, they have grown the float. Okay. So you can look at the short interest of free float and you see that it went down through the floor. That's only because you're dividing by a bigger number. Okay. The short interest is the number of shares sold short divided by the float. If you divide by a bigger float, the short interest percentage of free float drops. That's what has happened. Okay, so it's not because the shares have decreased. Look at this is the short interest of free float. Look, it went down through the floor. And now look at the short interest. It went down and is flat. It's down and flat 2 days in a row. Okay, that's the difference. All right. Everybody should learn how to read these charts and understand the math behind them, and that's how you prevent yourself from rushing into a hasty decision. If you're looking at this number and you think, oh God, the shorts have covered, you're not reading it right. If you're looking at this and say, okay, some shorts covered, but now they have maxed out their utilization, which you can see in the upper right-hand corner. Oh, actually, sorry. My chart is not showing all of my... It's not showing all of the window. Hold on. There we go. Okay, so utilization is 93.93%. Okay. You look at the utilization, it's telling us the same story. We hit the max utilization and they've barely sold any of, or they've barely covered any of those short shares. Okay. We're still maxed out on utilization. The number of estimated short interest, that's shares, is still the same. And the short interest of free float is the only thing that's gone down lower. Okay. Shorts haven't covered. Shorts have not covered. The only reason why SI percentage of free float is dropping is because you're dividing by a bigger number. That's all. All right. So don't panic about that. MULN's bouncing, and it just broke. It just broke that channel. So let's go ahead and go back to what we were looking at, and I'm going to go ahead and complete some trades. Okay. This is the breakout I was looking for. Oh Jesus. Woo! It's moving. I need to get into my position.
Not financial advice.
Not financial advice.
Wait for retest. Maybe it's a fake breakout. Just lie.
That's what
Too
I was
late.
waiting
I
on
got
earlier.
filled. Too late. Got
He said
filled.
too late.
Too late. Got filled. I only filled about half of my I only filled about half of the position. If it is a fake out breakdown or fake out breakout and it does retest 159, then I'll fill again at that support, because this is breakout. This is confirmation for me.
That's a technical nom nom.
That's a technical nom nom. You'll have to explain that one to me.
I just love looking at the house money just going up. It's just so beautiful.
Yeah, see, the confirmation on the nom nom is you wait on the 3 minutes for that third confirmation. The first one's the nom, the second one is the nom, and then the third one's the nom. Together they make nom nom nom.
Nom nom nom.
Hey, bro.
Okay, I'm just gonna assume. I'm just gonna assume you're correct. Okay. All right. So EMA 50. I'm sorry, EMA 20 bounced off of the 200 just now. Okay, so
Johnny
this is
Love
what they
just
were going
posted
for.
in chat that Fintel isn't working for many people. I don't know
Oh,
if
is
you knew
it?
that.
Is it really?
It's
Oh,
been off and on all morning.
really?
Just posted that. I just said that shit in the live stream chat. I've been trying to get into Fintel for the last like 15 minutes, and it keeps knocking me around.
Yeah, somebody shot that up about almost, I want to say it was half an hour, 45 minutes ago. It's been down for a while.
Reality is
G's
breaking
hard at
down.
work.
It's very simple. Reality is breaking down because the shorts have over-leveraged themselves to the point where loans mean nothing anymore. And now Fintel is breaking. Fintel doesn't know how to process all of this borrowing and loans and lending and shit. Now
Dogs and
Fintel's like,
cats
I don't
living
understand.
Masses.
Yeah.
We just can't have people looking at this. It's too scary.
Intel doesn't compute.
Fintel does not compute. Oh, Jesus. All right. Now look at that. See
The
now.
whole page gets replaced with a big never mind sign.
See now, if you were trading MULN $1 calls today, if you had exited right here where I made my exit at let's see, no, we had the breakdown here. I exited my $1 calls for this Friday at 180, somewhere between 180 and 185.
Was I?
Took a 100% profit. on all of those calls, and now they're back down. I sold those at about 95 cents. Nice scalp. Now I can re-enter my position with a very hefty 25% discount at 70 cents on the ask. See, that's why you manage your risk, okay? When you're up big like that, take some off the table, take
Yes,
a little bit
sir.
off the table, and wait for re-entry. It's always a good idea to protect your risk, okay? It's important.
Stop looking at the home run hitters. Just go with the ones that pay. Take your little 20-30% gains and happy with it. If it makes you feel better, close that chart. Don't ever look at that ticker again. Be happy with your money and move on.
Amen. Like right now, my Pfizer calls are doing super well. I'm up 115% on my Pfizer calls. I don't need more than that. That's fine. I'm cool with that. I'll go ahead. I'll even sell on the bid. All right, just so that I can guarantee myself a nice exit and I don't have to think about it. Look at that. Minimum credit, 420. minimum credit, 420. I have 15 calls. I'm selling them for 28 cents.
Dubs like 20 or 30%. Yeah, I know a regular trader be happy with the 5%. A regular trader who does that professionally every day and does millions of dollars, maybe thousands of dollars, yeah, they will be happy. And
that was one of the most
That's
frustrating
billions.
about
It's true. They will be
people are
happy
just
with
thinking
that.
it happens all the time.
You can't assume that. It's a really you set yourself up for failure trading that way if you think that you're going to hit a home run every time. And I can't like pot calling the kettle black. I've been I've been trading options and stuff for a little over a year and a half, if I'm being perfectly honest. Like I've bought calls, but I didn't trade them like I trade this now, okay? And it's a risky play. Oh, it looks like I have that meeting to get to. Ah, but it's doing so well.
Oh,
I don't want to go. I want to leave the stream going. I just want to leave the stream going. I want to stay here with you guys. I don't want to go anywhere.
Well, JRoff can probably take over.
I suppose we could, but JRuff has to take over the stream key.
He is now a YouTube admin, so I think he should be able to.
Well, he's a mod.
He's a mod.
Oh,
He's got to have access to the studio to take over. I suppose we can do that.
You need bigger cojones then.
Why don't we just come back for Power Hour?
Yeah, I think that would probably be best because then maybe I might actually get some real work done today.
Send out the invite, get people into the Discord. We're going to be live in there all day.
Yeah, if you guys want to join us,
here if you guys want to join.
Yeah, if you guys want to join us, that's a good way to handle it. Let's if you guys want to join us, we'll be in Hell's Trading Floor. We're going to be talking in our voice chat all day long, pretty much. You can join everybody for the slow hours. This is the chill hour. So, I've got to catch this meeting because we're going to be talking to some very lovely people who are going to give us some very wonderful access to some very valuable data. So, that's an important one that I don't want to miss out on. For the rest of you who are already here, look forward to seeing you later on in BC. Thanks, guys, for joining the stream. We'll come back. We'll come back for Power Hour, or at least I'll try to, and we'll see if we'll see if we can catch MULN on this on the way back up. Just take note of these levels. Remember, big resistances at $2. This would be the third test. If we can get back up there, we've got to break the 175 level to see it again. Okay. Thanks very much, guys, and we will see you next time.
Thanks, everyone.